Y'all know what time it is? Back with another one. We're going to talk about an old classic dog that not too many people talk about. That's a part of pit bull history, just as much as a lot of other dogs. Some a lot of people pedigrees if you got your papers and you can trace them back. The one and only Ferguson's champion Centipede. You can see he got that nice little hound doggy look a little bit, that old throwback look, that long body, you know, long snout, ears flipped over, nice sized dog. It don't say his weight, but I bet you he anywhere from 50ish, maybe 60ish pounds, who knows, and look like he a nice sized dog. They love them Horneses as usual. That throwback, them Horneses now. They know them dogs was jerking a lot and stuff, and I guess they, felt like them Horneses was better for more control of the dog, instead of jerking them by their neck, either or. But yeah, them Horneses do work good for them jerking dogs. See, he got a little rope up there around his too. They didn't have a chain back then. They got the rope. See what I'm saying? Some people still use the rope now and stuff. But yeah. Oh, champion Ferguson Centipede. So we're gonna check out today. The breeder was Owen. The owner was Ferguson. And it's been seen about 200,000 times, so you can see it's a well seen and known about dog. They ain't put it in here until 2001, so. But this is some old classic throwback blood. Alright, so we're gonna get straight into it. The sire, Harvey's Red Devil. The dame, the mama, Owen's Mickey. So that's the two dogs that made Old Centipede. Got them out there in the woods. Alright. So it ain't gonna really give no pictures or say nothing about the daddy. But you can see he's been seen 65,000 times. Harvey's Red Devil. See, he got the Edwards imported stuff in him. Classic stuff. The Kobe's, the Lightner. Finn's Lightner, mostly a heavy Lightner's dog. And Kobe's cross. That's what made Red Devil's daddy. Red Devil, which is Centipede's daddy. You got Kobe's Nancy 1912 thrown in there. You see Tudor's Fighting Peter. That's in the second generation, so that's his granddaddy. Super dog. I told y'all about Fighting Peter. In the earlier videos, if y'all been watching me. Then you got Tudor's Crazy Star, Lightner's Bucky, and Allen's Lady Vic. Red Devil sire was Allen's Fighting Tiger. You can see that Tiga again. There's a lot of people name him that, and Triplet Speedy. See that Triplets name him a lot. So yeah, that's the daddy old Centipede. We got a little basketball going on out there. See old Wimby the alien out there. Destroying the books. So we ain't traveling today. We had a basketball game today. But it's all good. That's a tall boy, but look at him. Back to the business. Alright. So now we got Owen's Mickey. Is the mama. Come off Owen's Tanner and Owen's Little Red. So that's Owen's blood right there. Owen's Mickey, the mama. She's seen about 16,000 times almost, so she getting up there. We got the Lighthouse Vic, Lightner's Crazy Peggy, Harvey's Red Devil. They got a Red Devil, and Harvey's Dynamite. She come down from the Fighting Peter stuff too. You see how they want to keep using that Fighting Peter stuff? Kobe stuff, Lightner stuff, Tudor stuff, Lightner's Topsy, Lightner's Bucky, Allen triplets, Lightners, So that's what made the mama. Alright. So we're at 5 minutes. This one should be a little quick because it don't got a whole lot in here about him, but he need his just due. He's a classic dog in the history. So let's get to the gist of what's making Centipede. Because I just went over it pretty much, but you know, pretty much a Kobe Lightner cross. Pretty much heavily, with little tutors in there. It's a nice little cross back in them days. You got something with Lightners. Get out of the way. You got something with Lightners, Kobe's, and tutors in it. I mean, you bulldogging back in them days for sure. But I told you this the action right here, the second generation. This is the quarter of breaking down what Centipede is. So we at 5 minutes, 6 minutes, we're gonna knock this out. So Alan's fighting Tiga. That's a quarter. That's a son of fighting Peter. That's why they called him fighting Tiga. Come off champion fighting Peter in Chudo's Crazy Store. And you can see coming off that Hutton stuff from Ireland. Can't be an American Pit Bull Terrier if it's coming from Ireland. All that Hutton's Billy and Hutton's Kit and Hutton's Prince and Hutton's Speak, whatever. Speck. You got the Kobe's Pincher in there, 24 timer. Super dog, of course. We done a video on him. Kobe's Neil, Kobe's Spring, Kobe's Dolly, 1906. Classic stuff. Jackson's Pearl, 1920s. See, coming down off that. So that's what a quarter of that is coming down off of. The Edwards imported stuff too. Ireland imported. Alright. The Tudors Judd Nancy 12. 1912. Kobe Gilty. Done a video on him. So that's a quarter of that blood. Let's see if we got anything with the 1920s Pearl. Nothing. See, they're classic stuff. None of them got nothing on her. 1920s or whatever. Only been seen 4,000 times. Let's see if we got anything on the 1906. Kobe's Dolly. Okay, got a little information on her. She come off Tiga. Inbred off from Tiga. Tiga to Tiga's daughter. Tiger daughter. Kobe's Tiger. And, you know, we done talked about Tiger a lot, though, but pretty much the Galvin's pup stuff. Son of imported Pete. Imported New York bitch. We done some of these dogs we done hit on a few times on my earlier videos if y'all been seeing me. But yeah. That's a quarter of old Centipede. It's pretty much what he... Let's get the triplet Speedy, which we gonna be at 50% of what made him now. And we got the Lightner's Bucky and Lightner's Lady Vic. Got the Lightner stuff right there. So triplet Speedy is pretty much a Lightner's dog. Coming off the late Lightner's Vic and Pansy and Vic 2 and Crazy Peggy. And it's Vic 2 because Lightner's Vic is starting to be inbred right there, you see. Lightner's Vic at the top, Master's Jack. Lightner's Vic, Master's Jack, you see. Lightner's Topsy. See how they inbreed them? You gotta learn how to read them pedigrees. Okay, coming off the Kobe's Tiga still. So they still using that Tiga. And there goes a Morel's Barnum and a Lightner's Joker. Okay, so Barnum. They don't got a picture of him, and you see it say unknown for what he is. So who knows what he was? Boston Red Dog and Morel's Stacy. So I don't know if the last name of Boston or he come from Boston or whatever. But Barnum won 7 money fights and was a very hard-mouthed dog that fought at catch weight. On December 29th, 1893, he beat the famous dog known as Gladstone that was imported from England. Barnum. I done probably said something about him before a time or two, but he's relevant for Centipede. You see why I go through these old dogs, how I keep coming back and back. But yeah, that's what a triplet Speedy coming off of that Lightner's Joker. I don't think they're gonna say too much about him. Yeah, but Nickel Silver, Wheeler's Jip, Brunel's White Jack, McGurdy's Vic, Old Poplar's Pat, and Wheeler's Queen, and then you got the unknown stuff. So, yeah. But Fighting Peter, so that's 50% of what made Centipede. Alright, so we at 10 minutes, so we're going to do the other 50%, but you can see what they breeding into Centipede to make Centipede. Super Dog. Fighting Peter. You can see he kind of looked like Centipede a little bit bone structure wise and everything. He was brindle, but you can see the bone structure. And I went over him a time or two before. And Fighting Peter was the first UKC pit champion on record. That's who you looking at right there, Fighting Peter. And he's pretty much coming down off the Kobe stuff, the Kobe Tiga stuff, and the Hutton stuff imported. That was basically an imported cross with the Kobe cross. You see, they took some imported stuff and crossed it with Kobe, and made Fighting Peter, and made the first UKC pit champion on record. Pretty important for y'all to know if y'all know history. If y'all want to know history about some of these dogs. On record now, not saying he's the first ever and none of that, but when they starting to record it and people start keeping up with it, he's the first one. UKC. You see that, y'all? Alright. JP Kobe, Earl Tudor. Alright, so we got the Fighting Peter. Give them his due. Alright, so we're going to go to the Owens blood right here that's finishing up Centipede. Owens Tanner. Alright, coming off Lighthouse Vic and Lightner's Crazy Peggy. Alright. Lightner's Vic. Lighthouse Vic is after Lightner's Vic. Alright, we got Finn's Crump, like Lightner's Crazy Carrie, and Lightner's Lady. Going into Penn's Lady B, that's unknown, and Master Jack, which coming down off the Lightner stuff, and Kobe Tiga. And we got the Semi's Big Jack and Semi's Terry. You know, Semi was out there bulldogging. You know, the Lightner stuff. You don't hear a lot about Semi's, but he needs a little shout out too. He got something bulldogging like that. And that's a look at him. Semi's Big Jack. Good looking dog, white and black, look like. They love them harnesses now. And it's a good looking dog. Breeder was W.J. Farron, and W.S. Sings was the owner. Semi's. Brindle and white, around about 55 pounds. Only been seen 23,000 times, 24 almost. Big Jack was a combination of Gas House and Burke's imported Rafferty dog. Imported from W.J. Farron of Canada. So you got some imported from Canada. Everything ain't coming from Ireland and other places. You got some imported from Canada too. Ain't American Pit Bull Terrier if it's coming from Canada, is it? Got to be a Staffordshire Bulldog or something like that. Alright, crossed with different stuff. So you see, he look like he's a good looking bulldog. Old throwback dog. And there's the stuff that they talking about, Gas House. I done some of the Gas House dogs, I think, and y'all can go back and look at the videos. You know, we ain't gonna make them but so long, but Champ Charlie's, Lloyd's Patty's, Burke Sally. I went over some of these dogs. New York Lady, Imported Pete. Galvin's Pup again. So they love that Galvin's Pup. Imported Rowdy. Yeah, so Woo Burns, Jumbo, and Bucky. Let's see if the Gas House, I'm going to get a Gas House some love today. I done been over them though, but that's the one I done the video on. Y'all can go back and look at it. That's why I'm hitting these dogs, so they go back into what I'm talking about when I start going down into the dogs. You'll start remembering. Yeah, he talked about that already. You know, if you've been watching my video, if you're new, you'll catch on, or you can go back and look at the videos. They're all up there. Alright, so last but not least, we're going to Owens Red Little. Alright. And once again, We got the Fighting Peter in there again. They love that. So Harvey's Red Devil, Harvey's Dynamite, Allen's Fighting Tiger, Triplet Speedy, McGuire's Buster, Creamer's Daisy. You got the Fighting Peter in there again, Kobe stuff in there again, Lightner stuff in there again, Tudor, Fighting Peter and Crazy Star. Coming down from the Kobe's, Lightner, and Kobe's more. Alright, so yeah. We got Trixie and we got White Thistle. Let's just click them just for purposes. I done showed her before, but that's old Kobe's Thistle. And highly thought of JP Cobley. He loved that dog. He was highly thought of. And, you know, some people were like, oh, look at his ears or whatever. I mean, he liked them. So it was a bulldog. I remember that. That's why I was going to show her. I don't think Trixie got nothing, but let's see. Oh, yeah, there go Trixie. Well, that's Butch, Kobe's Bunch. Let me look. Let's look at him. He looked like a little bulldog a little bit now. He got that little block shape. Good looking dog. Kobe's Bunch. Brendan White. It's a good looking dog. Been seen 40 times. He come off Pincher and Neil. That pilot stuff I done talked about, Patty. So yeah, it's a good looking dog. But I wanted to see if Trixie had something. Nah. It says she died in January 4th, 1907. But she come off Tiga too and Kobe's Thistle. The Galvin stuff. Pup stuff. Turk stuff. So yeah. Kobe's Jenny, Kobe's. So y'all can see what the influence Kobe's had in these classic dogs. So that's why people talk about them a lot. And, you know, the new blood ain't the old Kobe's blood. No, it ain't. But if you can get some of the old blood with the stuff that's coming down from do this stuff, you know, you still got some of the blood. You know, if you know how to read pedigrees and know how to take it back and your pedigree's right and you're nobody hanging the papers and you getting them from people that's real bulldoggers, you still have these throwback dogs, you know. It's getting harder and harder to find them because of the way this what's going on. But I mean, you know, that's why you gotta, when you see them, you buy them. If you can get the money to pay for them, or you find somebody giving dogs away, because that's what they're gonna be doing these days with the economy. Unless they get lucky or they got some good promotion. But yeah, this is classic walking antique blood when you get your hands on it. When your dogs look like this and built like this, you got some different type of bulldogs. Coming off that a lot of that Fighting Peter blood. Kobe's Lightner Tudor stuff. Alright. So you got another one coming soon. I'm gonna watch a little basketball. And I'll see y'all soon. Peace.